What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Bone Dry Blind Tasting. I am your host, Joe Denham. So far, these tastings have been a lot of fun, been learning a lot. I definitely have found a lot of things that I kind of need to strengthen, a few weaknesses, but each week just keep trying to get better. That's all you can really ask for. So this week we have 3 different wines that we're tasting. That's due to 2 separate tastings. Due to one of the tastings, one of the wines was corked, so had that extra little tasting laying around. Wanted to kind of put it into this one so you get a little extra tasting. Also, you'll notice that the scenery in one of the tastings is a little bit different, and that's due to this was back when I was working and came home from work. Wasn't really feeling getting all ready. Was kind of lazy, but still wanted to do a tasting at least. So a little bit of different scenery, a little bit more relaxed. I think this is actually probably one of my better tastings so far. So please enjoy. Wine number 1 is a red wine. It is a medium ruby leading on to a lighter ruby rim. Surface area is bright. Concentration and color is moderate plus. Wine seems to be opaque in the middle. Some moderate staining of the tears. There is a little bit of gradation of color. I'm seeing a little bit of a slight orange hue at the rim, maybe indication of some age. Wine's clean, sound, developing. Wine leads with red fruit. I'm gonna go with like red cherry, just a ripe to maybe a slightly overripe red cherry, a little bit of red raspberry. Moving into some blueberry, just ripe blueberry. I'm getting tons of herbal notes here. I'm getting oregano, thyme, rosemary. Maybe a little bit of kind of spice, curry spice, fenugreek, bay leaf. It seems to be very kind of spicy and herbaceous. All the herbs are dried, but mostly just fresh. Leading into some clay, some dried clay, kind of earth minerality. And then maybe a little bit of kind of bacon fat in the background. Moving to the palate. Wine is dry. Tannins are moderate plus. Body is moderate plus. Alcohol, I'm gonna say, is high. I'm gonna call acid moderate. Wine still leads with all that kind of ripe to, there's a lot more overripe fruit here, still in the red camp. Overripe red raspberries, red cherry. Still that kind of blueberry, just ripe. There's a little bit of mixture of some black fruit, black cherry in there as well. All in the ripe to overripe category. Confirming all of the spice and herbs still fresh and a little bit of dried. Bay leaf, thyme, oregano, rosemary. Still that kind of fenugreek curried spice, a little bit more black pepper on the palate. Still that kind of confirming the dried clay minerality, touch of potpourri florals here. Initial conclusion, this is an older wine due to the complexity and the secondary aromas from a warm climate due to the high alcohol. Possible great varieties include Grenache, based blend from southern Rhone in France, or a Sangiovese from Italy. Final conclusion: this is an old wine from France, from southern Rhone, Grenache blend. I'm gonna call this Gigondas 2000, and we'll put that at like 13. Good quality producer. Wine number 1 is a white wine. It is a moderate yellow leading out to a lighter water rim, some glimpses of green. Concentration and color is moderate plus. Wine seems to be day bright with clear, and tearing is, I'm going to say, just moderate. It looks to be sheeting. Wine's clean, sound, youthful. Wine jumps out of glass with citrus fruit first. Lots of ripe and a little bit of tart citrus, Meyer lemon, candied lime, a little bit of like orange zest, leading right into some florals. There is lots of like fresh lilies, hawthorn, acacia. Very floral. Aromatics are moderate, are high aromatic wine. Leading into some tropical fruit, some fresh mango, some fresh papaya. There's a touch of like green herbal. I'm gonna call that like a tarragon, almost like sage, like a dandelion stem. Maybe even like grass. Maybe even like arugula. There's something green in this. Moving past that, there is some intense minerality here. Some crushed rock, riverstone, limestone. It's pretty complex on the nose. Moving to the palate. Wine is dry. There is a touch of RS, but I'm gonna still call it dry. Yeah, acid's high. Alcohol is just moderate, maybe even moderate minus. Texture's lean. Body is just moderate. Complexity is moderate plus. Finish is just moderate plus. Confirming all of these florals, is a very floral wine. Fresh hawthorn, acacia, lilies, just florals. Moving right into those moving into minerality, crushed rock, limestone, river rock, chalk, confirming citrus fruit, lemon zest, Meyer lemon, not as much tangerine, not as much tropical, maybe a touch of papaya. Initial conclusion: this is in I think this is actually a New World wine. It doesn't really make sense with all the descriptors, but I think this is New World wine. Possible grape varieties include Torrontes. Possible regions include South America. Age range is going to be 1 to 3 years. Final conclusion: this is a New World wine from South America, from Argentina, or no, from from Argentina. Salines, Torrontes. Moderate quality producer. 2000 and we'll say 17. Wine number 2 is a red wine. It is a medium ruby leading out to a lighter ruby rim. There's a little bit of orange at the edge, indicating some possible age. Concentration and color is just moderate. Wine seems to be pretty translucent. Slight staining of the tears, and tearing is, you can call it moderate plus, maybe even high. Wine's clean, sound, youthful, big, ripe to jammy, red fruit leads, red cherry, raspberry, strawberry, all ripe to jammy fruit. Oh yeah, big raspberry jam. Leading into like some pie crust, graham cracker, maybe some oak. Yeah, some like toast, smoke. There is indications of new oak here, with just a little bit of underbrush, fresh potting soil, a touch of like kind of blue, candied blue fruit, candied blueberries. Touch of fresh rose, violet. It's really just about fruit and a little bit of oak. Moving to the palate. Wine is dry. Acids moderate plus. Texture's brown. Body is moderate plus. I would call it moderate. Tannins are just moderate. Alcohol is moderate plus. Wine still leaves with all that fresh to overripe red fruit, tons of that fresh raspberry jam, strawberry, red cherry, almost like a cherry cough drop, with a touch of that confirming blue fruit, confirming florals, fresh rose and violet, confirming a touch of that fresh potting soil, organic earth, confirming new oak, toast, smoke, sweet kind of vanilla. I believe there is definitely some new oak here. Complexity is just moderate. Finish is moderate plus. Initial conclusion: this is a New World wine due to the higher alcohol and just an elevated alcohol from a moderate to warm climate. Possible grape varieties include Pinot Noir or Zinfandel from the U.S. Final conclusion: this is a New World wine from the U.S., California, called North Coast. Sonoma Coast, 2016 Pinot Noir, good quality producer. Pitten, going crazy. All right, today we were blind tasting a wine from Spain. I ended up calling Chateauneuf Pop. Still that kind of really overripe style. Didn't really pick up on any oak. That didn't lead me towards Tempranillo. Still part of that little triangle of confusion. All in all, I'm not too mad about it. I got that there was a little age on it and everything, but still very good wine. And then we had a casualty today. Our white wine was unfortunately corked, so this would have been a toughie though, for sure, but still testable wine, but too Alrighty. So we got good old Torrontes. This wine kind of threw me for a loop. I don't think I described it quite as well, but I brought it together there at the end. Yeah, pretty interesting wine. And then we got Pinot Noir, just a little bit more north than I called. Good old Oregon, but all in all, I think it was pretty spot on. All right, so as you saw with the first wine, it ended up being Tempranillo. It was from Ribera del Duero, and they tend to make things a little bit more kind of New World style, a little bit riper, a little bit fresher. I wasn't picking up on all the oak tags that I would usually get from Tempranillo. They do use in that producer some French oak and some American oak, so maybe that was a little confusion for me, but I think it ended up being a pretty good example of Tempranillo. It had that darker berry fruit, maybe a little bit dried. It had lots of earth qualities, had that kind of clay mineral tone going on. There was like a little bit of that meaty, that maybe kind of like teriyaki soy sauce thing you might find in a Rioja. I think I thought it was a little bit boozy, a little bit more overripe than I'm used to lead me towards Rioja. So that's where I kind of went to Chateauneuf instead. But yeah, those two do get confused. I confuse them, hopefully not too often, but I know I've confused them in the past. So still, I think that tasting was pretty good. As for the second tasting, with the white wine, ended up being Torrontes. Super aromatic, super floral, really terpene driven, classic Torrontes, lots of flowers, kind of funky with that herbaceousness that I was getting, but it is a pretty unusual grape. It has sometimes soapy qualities. Not a lot of people like it, but I think it does have its place. I kind of like aromatic wines, so I do enjoy a Torrontes every once in a while, but definitely not all the time. It's a once in an occasion thing. But yeah, really classic example of Torrontes. Enjoyed that wine quite a bit. And then for the red wine, I could tell that it was Pinot Noir. I'm glad I went with Pinot Noir. Just with that classic red berry fruit. I had new oak on it. Hedging your best between California and Oregon. Oregon, I think, tends to have a little bit more kind of that mushroom beet earthy quality to it, but I've had examples of wines in California that do the same thing. So I thought it was pretty ripe, and that's why I wanted to go more towards California instead of Oregon, but still ended up nailing both of those wines. Super happy about that. Pretty close on the Tempranillo. So yeah, thanks for everyone for tuning in, and I will see you next time. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to another tasting with everybody soon.